I guess I'd be startled too if I actually saw it in person. He drew his .45 caliber pistol and shot at it multiple times, and he hit it in the head, and it died.
So I don't mean to laugh, but it's such a New Jersey thing to do, where you don't know what something is, so you just shoot it.
You just shoot it. Ask questions later. We don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it crawled up in the ball and died on the tarmac.
Maybe he got a little too cozy with some of these birds.
Only explanation I have, and where a Fiat Uno could keep up with a Mercedes S280. Okay.
It's not that I wouldn't fight Mothman. I would beat the shit out of him.
We're seasoned.
So wait, you mean to tell me they have a festival commemorating the day a man got his shit rocked by an extraterrestrial carrot?
My neighbors across the street, they are not real.
But a pyramid is the most boring shape.
Part Sasquatch, part trickster midget.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Kitchen.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us in the Conspiracy Kitchen, where we attempt to find the secret ingredients behind life's daily mysteries. I'm your ghost hunting, alien investigating head chef, I guess you can call me, Joe. And you know who I'm accompanied by. The legend himself, the cryptid killer, my sous chef, Josh.
That's me.
Yes, it is. Now, yeah, it's been, 10 days since we recorded? We had internet issues because of that storm that went through or whatever. So, how's it been, Josh? It's been 10 days since we were in here. How's it going?
It's been 10 days since my last confession. No, it's been okay. Today was weird. I had an odd day at work.
What's happened?
I got called a chauvinistic pig. I don't even know what that means.
You male chauvinistic scumbag.
Yeah, but you know the funny thing? I didn't even do anything. And I know people would be like, oh, that's you're in denial. No, I physically did nothing. So this woman went to, because I work for like a chain of shops, like garages. So she went to our Piscataway location, and I guess she needed brakes for her car, and they, I guess, were rude to her in some way. So she left pissed off. And then here I am at my location, 10 minutes from there, and I get a phone call, and I'm very professional up until I don't want to be anymore. And I'm like, hey, how can I help you? And she just starts screaming. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, I went to this location, and they talked down to me, and they blah, 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 blah. And they're all chauvinistic pigs. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, what do you need? And she's like, well, do you do brakes? I'm like, yeah, we do brakes. And she's like, well, how much are they? I'm like, well, do you need for the front, the back, all around? She's like, well, you're supposed to tell me that. I'm like, great. I can't diagnose your car over the phone. I'm not that good. And then she just keeps asking, well, how much is it? How much is it? And I'm like, and then she's just being a dick. So I'm like, all right, well, do you want to keep yelling, or do you want to tell me, what kind of car it is so we can move this along? Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. So then she tells me, and I'm like, all right, well, we would have to, we do free brake inspections, so it's not a big deal. We'll check it out for free. And she's like, well, I needed it done today because I'm going on a trip tomorrow somewhere that you don't need to know because it's none of your fucking business. And I'm like, I didn't ask, but okay. And then I'm just like, one of us needs to settle down. And it's not anyway. So finally, I'm like, all right, so did you want to do brakes or did you want to not? And she's like, well, how much are they? And I'm like, ballpark, like, I don't know, $800? I don't know. And she's like, well, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, okay, well, you have a nice day, and we'll leave it at that. She's like, well, what's your number to corporate? I'm like, I don't know. Call the 1-800 number. I don't even have the corporate number. She's like, okay, bye. And she just hangs up on me. But like, I got called a chauvinistic pig, and I was like, nothing but nice, which is odd because I'm usually an asshole. And I did say this to her, and I don't think she caught it. But I was like, ma'am, you're yelling at me, and I haven't even been rude to you yet. And, and I said yet, and she didn't catch it. And then,
Nice.
and then she just hung up. And then I just kind of went about my day, like, very confused. And my coworker heard her, like, screaming, and he was like, "The fuck was that about?" And I was like, "I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but apparently I'm a piece of shit." And he's like, "Wow, man, you suck." I'm like, "I guess. I don't know." So that was my day. And then I came home, and now I'm having Crystal Light with vodka.
That's nice. No Ovaltine.
I'm out of milk.
How can you be out of milk?
Look, I'm just as disappointed in myself, okay? I didn't pick up the milk.
I get it. Yeah, well, I guess if you're gonna rant about that, about customers, I'll tell you, I get the same shit. So I'll either go to a site, I'll diagnose the machine and be like, all right, I have to order a part. I'm gonna order it from the manufacturer overnight, early AM. It'll be sent to the shop location for like 8:30. I'll leave my house, go pick it up, and come in. And they're always like, you don't keep that part on your truck every single time. And the last one I did was it was a mech scissor lift. The pump motor was arcing bad and went bad, so it wouldn't steer or lift. It would drive though because it has electric drive. And the guy's like, a common simple part like that, you don't keep them in your truck. I'm like, no, because and honestly, the 7 years I've been here, I haven't had to replace one. So this is the first one. So why would I keep that on a truck? And if I kept every part for every machine we have, I'd need like a warehouse towed behind me. Like they don't understand that. And so there's that rant. And then the other one is today I was at a vocational school to look at a scissor lift because it wouldn't move. And apparently the guy was like, I scheduled this for pickup. And he's like yelling at me about it. To be picked up out of here last week and no one came. And why didn't you tell me no one was? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm not the guy to talk to about that. You know what I mean? Like, why are you yelling at me about this? I'm here to fix it because apparently it doesn't move. Well, it moved a week ago and now it doesn't. Well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, that's the crap I got to deal with too.
Dude, I realize we both deal with this nonsense on a daily basis. Like
Yes.
what I deal with also is we have you could book appointments online. But for the listeners out there, I need everyone to understand something. When you book an appointment to have your car worked on, that doesn't mean your car is going to be brought in right at that time. It just saves you a slot for the day. Now, does that sound retarded? Yes, absolutely. But got to think of it this way. If you have a 9 o'clock appointment and there's an 8 o'clock appointment before you for like an oil change, but then they add a bunch of shit like filters and whatnot after that, it's going to stretch out their appointment. So you got to wait your turn.
Unacceptable.
I guess so. But people come in and they're like, why isn't my car brought in yet? I'm like, because you got here 4 minutes ago. And, and granted, I hate making people wait. I really do. But at the same time, like, more people need to understand how this shit works so they could stop bothering me so I could watch TV. Because I'm trying to watch Chicago Fire in the waiting room and they just keep bugging me with dumb questions.
Stop interrupting this man from watching TV while he's on the clock.
Yeah. Fucking bullshit, man. I didn't even get to watch Jeopardy last night because of the bullshit that was going on, so I was pissed. Anyway,
yeah, they try to make me diagnose stuff over the phone when they call me, and I'm like, I will drive there. Just hold on, relax. But anyway, I guess that rant's over.
yeah, I feel
So
better.
good. Glad you got some of that stress out. Your blood pressure came down a little bit, and got a little bit of relief. All right. Before we do jump into the main topic of tonight, I want to get some leftovers. I guess we're gonna take Tupperware, get the Tupperware thing out of the fridge. I'll throw in the mic. This is to kind of sum up and finish the spy in the bag suspect that I have and Josh had of it being that guy S. Hammers. If I remember correctly, and I think Josh remembers this too, this guy admitted to being D.B. Cooper. Is that right?
Yeah, he did. He was very, very
He-
excited about it.
It's just flat out admitted it. He said we were all wrong in our episode and that he was actually D.B. Cooper. So I was like, all right, yeah, all right. So if we remember correctly, D.B. Cooper got money, $200,000. And these bills were then marked, serial numbers recorded by the FBI, the United States. To be D.B. Cooper, too, I think you need to have some balls, right? I mean, jumping out of there. You got to have intelligence and you got to have balls because you got to be able to get the mission done and you got to be able to jump out into a storm. So you got to have some courage. Which is the marks of the person who stuffed someone in a bag, especially an MI6 agent, and left them die. So I think what happened was this guy S. Hammers gets the money, leaves some as a trail. The $5,600 is left behind, just to kind of throw off the trail. He then moves to England. He gets out of the country, gets to England, and now he's got to try to kind of wash this money away, right? So he's trying to get rid of the U.S. dollars that are tagged, and probably trying to get English pounds maybe or something, just to kind of have the money cleaner, if you will. So he's doing this over time, and I think what happened was the MI6 agent, Garth was his name. I think it was Garth or something like that, right?
Gareth,
thank you. Gareth sees an anomaly going on over here and looks into S. Hammer's finances because he doesn't quite understand what's going on here. And then he gets the serial number pings, and he finds out this might be D.B. Cooper. So then he starts gathering evidence, tracking S. Hammers. But S. Hammers, remember, he's a smart guy, and apparently he's a legend, from his own words. He then counter traces the MI6 agent that's tracking him, right? Because he's smart. And that's when he takes his lithium battery powered spider lift, like I don't know if it was a 2-pin or a JLG, down the alleyway, up silently at night into his window, and stuffs him in the bag, locks him in there, and plants this evidence of him being an autoerotic asphyxiated freak. Whatever you want to call it. I don't want to bash anyone that has that as their kink, but stuffs that in there and then tries to leave. All because Gareth, or whatever the fuck his name was again.
this is Gareth.
The stupid name, I keep forgetting. Gareth was onto him for being D.B. Cooper. He was going to solve the D.B. Cooper case, and S. Hammers took him out. You think I've wrapped that all up nicely? You think that is?
I
Two
think
suspects, two different cases, one guy.
I think you wrapped it up nicely. It makes a lot of sense. Also, I think Hammers is going to get really mad because cars are going to start following him and investigating his life, and he's not going to like us anymore. So I'm sorry for that part. Well,
But all being said, I mean, he's a great fan. He's always commenting, always showing support, and this is our way of giving back, right?
I want to have a pint with Hammers.
Yeah. So I think I wrapped it up nicely. Just watch out for those black vehicles following you around, especially if there's a Fiat Uno in the area. It might not end well.
Especially if it goes through a tunnel. Anyway.
Follows you through a tunnel, I'd watch out. Could be aliens, though, too.
Could be aliens, could be just poor driving skills.
It was aliens. And that leads us into what our topic of the day is, right?
Aliens.
Aliens. UFO sightings. And especially for New Jersey, because what I believe, New Jersey is a hotbed for alien and UFO activity. Everyone tries to give the credit to what? Nevada. Fucking boring state because of Area 51. New Jersey is where the aliens are at. If no one believes me, look at the drone sightings just a couple years ago. They were all over the place, right? And we have a bunch of UFO sightings we can talk about tonight. Maybe an unfortunate alien that didn't make it. And I'm going to go into, I think we're going to talk about why all these are coming around in New Jersey and why they're over certain areas. And wrap it up with what aliens really are doing here, right?
Yeah, and When we originally came up with the idea for this episode, I was looking at just various sightings and encounters, but all of them kind of moved back towards New Jersey. So then all of my information is on New Jersey because there was just so many listed, like so many encounters reported.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I honestly had no idea there was this many.
No, it's a hotbed. It is a hotbed for alien activity. And one of the most famous ones, which I think Josh knows this area pretty well, would be the 1966 Wanakee Reservoir sighting, right? UFO sighting.
Wanakee, yeah, I grew up there. I spent the majority of my summers there. This happened back in '66 in Wanakee, which is, it's all connected to Ringwood, New Jersey. It's like northern Jersey. There's a big reservoir, but for those who don't know the area, why would you? There's various lakes that like all connect to each other. So it's like a huge wooded area for like miles and miles, and then lakes, and yeah. Good fishing, I'll say that. But on the night in question,
Yes.
it all started early evening, January 11th, 1966. It was about 6:30, and there was, people driving, and they reported a huge light hovering over the reservoir, which this was winter at the time, so the lake was frozen.
Yeah.
And
But-
sorry?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Patrolman Cisco. He's the one who got a call first about it because they saw glowing lights and they thought it was a fire. People thought it was a fire at first.
Yeah, people thought it was a fire, and he got called and immediately rushed over, and then he saw this giant light and was like, the fuck is that?
Yeah, I mean, freaking people in towns nearby, not even in there. You had Oakland PD's phones ringing off the hook for this reported strange orb in the sky. You had Ringwood, you had Patterson, you had Totowa, you had Butler. All these different towns, their police lines were ringing off the hooks because of this pulsating orb in the sky.
And
they said it was changing colors too. Like, so people were freaking the fuck out. All these people, right, including the mayor, his son Billy, and council people, saw this thing floating around.
And Billy, I think, was the one who, when he gave his statement, said that it burned a huge hole in the ice, like right where it was hovering, and then it eventually just took off, like just went straight up and shot out. But that wasn't the end of it. It went on for a while.
Yeah.
There was another one just a day later, and it was just floating in the woods. It was Patrolman Jack Wardlaw reported seeing a bright white disc floating in the vicinity of his home in the Stonetown section of Wanakee, which is just west of the reservoir. And he said it seemed like only a block away above Lily Mountain, maybe 1,000 feet up. And he's like, don't ask me what it was, but I do know it wasn't any helicopter, plane, or comet. It shot laterally right and left, it stopped, it moved up straight, and then it moved down and disappeared the direction of Ringwood and north. So the reason this is such a big deal is because, again, people don't know this area because it's such a random spot, but there's nothing for miles. Like, this is the kind of place where you want to go to the store, you say you have to go into town. Like, there's nothing. And the fact that so many different people were able to give such a detailed recollection just proves that there was absolutely something there.
Yeah, because, I mean, and it continued, like, most of the year. Because it continued all the way to October.
It went into October. That was it reappeared, and what was it? There was a sighting shortly after 9 p.m. And Robert J. Gordon of Pompton Lakes and his wife Betty saw what they described as a single saucer-shaped object, also the size of an automobile, glowing with a white brilliance. At first I thought it was a star, Betty said, but it seemed to be moving. It had a definite pattern.
Yeah. And you also had that same night they were talk about even brighter lights than before. Near Dead Man's Curve on Clinton Road, you had a Sergeant Ben Thompson saw the object, said about 75 feet above the mountains, moving low before accelerating straight upward. So it's not just, random, people, civilians and stuff. You have reports directly from police officers, city officials, council people. Are these kind of people making this stuff up? It's for me, if it's some random guy, like, yeah, I guess, whatever. But when you have police officers with their sworn testimony saying they saw these things, that gives it a lot more credibility.
Absolutely. And it was so credible, in fact, that this whole story, it went all the way to the Pentagon. Like, they got wind of everything. And was it Wanakee officers Jack Wardlaw and Chuck Theorora rejected the Army's initial explanations of the mysterious lights as merely swamp gas or a helicopter. And the Pentagon offered its own scenario, which was hundreds of people saw over the skies. The reservoir was nothing more than the planets Venus and Jupiter in rare celestial alignment.
Yeah.
So that's going to burn a hole in the ice and then move around erratically for all to see.
Yes. And then we also had it could have been, aircraft? But then they contacted the Air Force Base, McGuire, which we're going to talk about later too, which is now the Joint Base, which I go to a decent amount. They deny any involvement, any tests, anything going on there. Now, I guess they could deny it if it's some kind of top secret thing, but I just don't see this being something the Air Force had. Any type of craft they had, especially back in 1966. We barely have jets flying around, let alone freaking something that has no noise, no visible propulsion system, and can float around and move erratically and then shoot straight up and accelerate at just the blink of an eye. I don't see this. It's not a helicopter. I'm telling you right now, it's not a helicopter.
No. It's absolutely not. But like I said, I spent the majority of my childhood there, and I've heard stories about, the UFO sighting and all that because people know about it, obviously. There's also a lot of spots up there that are haunted, but I'll save that for another day. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on that lake, and I never got to see anything quite as magical. It was mainly just a old Irish man yelling at a small 6-year-old with alcohol on his breath. While fishing. You could laugh. It was my childhood. It's fine. I got berated for not being able to catch a fish when I was 6 years old. Mind you, this was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and he was already hammered. But that's probably why the aliens didn't want to come out. They were too busy in shock of what they were witnessing in a small rowboat on a reservoir.
Oh yeah, he doesn't need any more going on in his life right now. Just leave him alone.
Yeah,
they're nice. The aliens are nice.
Yeah, they decided to cut me a break. I appreciate it.
Now, I'm glad you kind of brought up the reservoir thing, and I will get into what I think these reservoir sightings are in a little bit. I just wanted something else. We also have the Round Valley Reservoir in Hunterdon County.
Mm-hmm.
In the whole county, over 50% of the UFO sightings are sighted at the Round Valley Reservoir. So something else, again, you can see, like, it seems like these UFOs are attracted to, reservoirs. So reservoirs, I think, are a big one, and military bases. So they always think it's some kind of military craft, but I just don't see it happening at all. And that, one of the latest ones was in 2024, because we had that big New Jersey had the big drone incursion, if you will, right? Everyone was seeing drones. Remember last year when we first started this podcast? It was even just at the end of last year, in December. Remember the drones everywhere?
Yeah, they were above your house a lot. I
Yeah, well,
remember.
I mean, I'm only like, if you go in a straight line, maybe 15 miles from the joint base.
Hmm.
But because like when they do testing and stuff, we hear it. Like you hear the shells, like it'll vibrate the windows a little bit, and you hear the shells. And since we're close enough, the joint base, lets us know, hey, these days are going to be worse than these days and whatever. And then, as we're on this topic, I just find it funny when you have these implants from New York. They say on the Facebook pages, hey, what's that noise? And you tell them, oh, it's the base training. Oh, this is ridiculous. It's getting late. I'm going to call the base and make them stop. And then people are like, I guess that's going to work, dude. They're going to turn around and be like, oh, what's your address? All right. And then that's going to be their new, target zone for their testing, because they're not going to fucking care if you're going to call them and tell them to stop.
I
But
I
anyway,
love the balls on these people. They're like, you know what? The U.S. military, they're gonna listen to what I have to say. No, they're not. You're just another schmuck with a noise complaint of a military base. Good luck with that.
exactly. No, they're not going to care. So we got a ton of reports of freaking at these reservoirs. Um, I want to I'll get into the unfortunate alien later. We also had the 2014 or July 14th, sorry, the July 14th, 2001 Carteret UFO sighting over the Turnpike.
Oh yeah, tell me about that one.
So late night, motorists along the Turnpike near Carteret, which is northeast New Jersey, between Staten Island, New York, and Fort Lee, New Jersey, reported strange orange and yellow lights in a V formation over the Arthur Kill waterway. Again, over a waterway. Witnesses, including the Carteret Police Lieutenant Daniel Tarrant, described lights hovering for about 15 minutes before just vanishing. Completely vanishing. The New York Strange Phenomena investigators, NYSPI, claimed to have FAA radar data collaborating the event. So we have radar data showing that these things were there, just like these people were saying. Although air traffic controllers in the area deny any aircraft activity. Well, yeah, because they're not yours, right? There wasn't anything flying from an airport, so you're going to deny it. So that's why the data shows something there, but the traffic controller saying there's nothing there because it's not yours. It's fucking aliens. And actually, it was so big it actually made international news. And again, to this day, remains unexplained, with no one had an exact theory on what happened. And my theory is obviously it was a freaking like a extraterrestrial aircraft, UFO, or an alien. That's what I think.
That's also what I think. What else could it be?
Especially when air traffic controls out. No, we have no aircraft activity. Yeah, no shit, you didn't.
I don't think the aliens are calling ahead like, hey, is this runway clear? Like, no, they're just,
I don't give a fuck.
oh, why would they fuck you? I fly where I want. Oh.
We also had we got the 75 North Bergen UFO wave. That's a wave of a surge of sightings, if you will. North Bergen is also like a UFO hotspot. They had a big surge of sightings in 75, glowing objects and strange lights over the Hudson River area, again over water. Bud Hopkins, a prominent UFO researcher, documented a sighting in the Village Voice, noting a sane citizen, this guy is a sane citizen, observed the craft. So I guess it was his witness. Didn't give a name though. And this freaking the reputation for being a big UFO hotspot persists, and a lot of UFO researchers go to North Bergen to study and try to find new sightings.
I Is that connected to the North Hudson UFO? Or the Hudson Park?
I don't know what time. When was that?
Oh, probably not. That was 75.
This was 75. That was part of the North Bergen. It's probably. I guess it was a specific sighting during the North Bergen UFO wave of sightings.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, because there was, what was it? The North Hudson Park UFO. It was, again, January. I guess they like cold weather. This one was fun. It was 2:45 a.m. George O. Barsky was driving home through North Hudson Park, just across the Hudson River from Manhattan, when static filled his radio. Leaning forward to fiddle with the dial, he noticed a light to his left. A quick glance, followed by an astonished glare, revealed its source: a dark, round object with vertical, brilliantly lit windows. It was heading in the same direction as the car and emitted a humming sound. So he said that it slowed down, or no, he slowed down for a better view. The UFO entered a playing field, and this is where it gets a little fun. UFO entered a playing field and hovered a few feet off the ground. He says a panel opened between two windows and a ladder emerged. Seconds later, about 10 identically little figures wearing all white one-piece outfits with hoods or helmets that obscured their facial features came down the ladder. Each dug a hole in the soil with a spoon-like device and dumped the contents into a bag and rushed back into the ship and took off.
This is a lot of details.
It is a lot of details, and I don't know how credible this is. But he swears to Christ it happened.
Maybe. It's possible. I mean, perhaps. I kind of wanted to touch on. Well, I'll do this the Barney one, then I'll touch on, because we're talking about credibility here, so I want to touch on that. But, March 22nd, 2023, a driver on the Garden State Parkway, which runs north south down the coast of New Jersey. You kind of go to that's how all the New Yorkers go to the shore. Schmucks. But a driver on the Garden State Parkway in Barnegat, he reported seeing two stationary objects with bands of lights in the sky. He then tried to take a picture with his phone. I'm assuming he pulled over safely. He wasn't driving with his phone. Probably not. He probably just tried to drive it. And he said when he tried to take a picture of them, they blinked out, quote unquote, whatever that means. He said later down the parkway, one appeared close to his driver's window. He described it as a large disc with bright lights and a multi-story high window. So I don't know how close this was to his vehicle. He said in the window he saw moving, quote-unquote, beings. The craft reportedly paced the car at 75 miles per hour, so he was speeding. He admitted to speeding before vanishing. The account is logged with the National UFO Reporting Center and is noted for its detailed descriptions and his apparent close encounter with the aliens. I guess I don't know, he said he saw it. He said he saw it, so I believe him. Bastard. Yeah, he might have been going a little too fast. Maybe he was drunk, but I wanted to get in, because you're talking about credibility, I want to get into something that they did mention. They did kind of, some people are scumbags about, so not all of them. You can't believe every single sighting you see. We have the 2009 Morristown UFO. On January 5th, 2009, I don't know if you looked into this, residents in Morristown and nearby towns like Morris Plains, Florham Park, I think's up there too, reported 5 red lights in a triangular formation. The Mutual UFO Network and local medias covered the event, with UFO hunters coming down to check it out. There was a Bill Byronins, or whatever his name is. He said it wasn't Chinese lanterns. He rejected those explanations, said it must be UFOs. But later on, it was revealed that it was a hoax. A guy named Joe Rudy and Chris Russo came out and said they used helium balloons with road flares to demonstrate unreliability of eyewitness accounts. So they're just being dickheads.
It's a little specific on their part, though.
I think the alien touched him, and then he's trying to be a dick and trying to say the aliens don't exist at all by doing this stupid hoax.
Wait, I have a question. Is helium flammable?
Yes.
So how do they do that with? I was gonna say, how do they do that with a road flare?
It might not be.
Oh, it's not flammable. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a noble gas, yeah.
Yeah. It's a noble gas. Good for it.
It's a noble gas, yeah. It's not flammable yet. That's why we use helium instead of what was the Hindenburg? Nitrogen.
Funny. Oh, nitrogen. Yes.
I think was it nitrogen? I think they used in that.
I think it
went
was.
off like a fucking. Well, well, you know where the Hindenburg crashed, right?
Remind me.
At the Joint Base.
Did it really?
Yeah, it crashed at the Joint Base here in New Jersey. When I go into the base, there's a huge strip, and it's the Hindenburg Memorial Site, where the only thing out there is nothing but 2 porta-johns and a sign that says this is where the Hindenburg crashed. But yeah, that's where it went down.
2 porta-johns. Come shit where the catastrophe happened.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, so those guys are dickheads. They're scum for doing this. We do kind of have a huge UFO sighting and reports compared to other states. The only states that really outpace New Jersey is California and New Mexico and Nevada. And then, like us, New Jersey. And speaking of the Joint Base, I guess, you want to talk about the alien incident at the Joint Base?
What do you get into that? Sure.
We can get into that. Now, I go to the Joint Base and people there still talk about this. So, I mean, I guess it has some kind of standing there. It's almost like a freaking legend that goes on there. So, it was at Fort Dix, and now the bases it's Dix, McGuire, and Lakehurst. They all join together, and they're called the Joint Base. It's huge. The place is huge. So the Fort Dix section is south of where I am, in like the Wrightstown area. It's more of a pain in the ass getting to Fort Dix than Lakehurst, by the way, if you're ever planning on visiting for no reason. But allegedly, around 2 a.m, military, like a police patrol guy for the military named John Trowbridge, was on patrol when he noticed a low-flying, glowing object, so a UFO. He said it was described as a disc-shaped and emitting a bluish-green light and moving erratically all over the place. So it must have been like, what was it, Jupiter, Saturn,
Yeah.
some planet in retrograde or something. So he went to investigate. He said when he went to investigate, he came across a small humanoid gray figure, about 4 feet tall, large head, his almond-shaped eyes, and basically consistent with like what a gray alien would look like, right? His big black eyes. Startled, and I guess I'd be startled too if I actually saw it in person. He drew his .45 caliber pistol and shot at it multiple times, and he hit it in the head, and it died.
So I don't mean to laugh, but it's such a New Jersey thing to do, where you don't know what something is, so you just shoot it.
You just shoot it. Ask questions later. We don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it crawled up in the ball and died on the tarmac of the runway out there. When this happened, other military personnel swarmed the area, secured the area, and they took the little alien body, put it in a sealed container, and a specialized team, he said, airlifted it to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Now, if you know anything about the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, this is supposed to be another big UFO alien site where they kind of store extraterrestrial artifacts, according to the UFO communities, and where a lot of shit goes out there, from what I've heard and seen. So the UFO then, I guess, saw this and was like, "Oh fuck," and they took off. Shot them.
Well, they shot at the UFO too. They pumped a few rounds into it, and it took off.
I guess they didn't want to get hit too, right?
Yeah.
So then, Trowbridge was debriefed by his, superiors, They basically told them this didn't happen. There's going to be severe consequences if you say anything about it. They declassified it, and the records were buried, and that was it. They're not going to talk about this anymore. So then years later, the story surfaced, and you got someone, UFO research like Stephen Greer. He got information on this. So he has a disclosure project. They think he does a whole thing about government cover-ups of extraterrestrials. So we had that. This freaking thing, this alien just on a runway gets shot, and there he goes. So he's at a military base. They were hovering, looking at a military base. Now, I don't know how much I can get into when I go into the base. I was actually going to something a couple years ago. I haven't gone there in a while. I think they moved it. We had 2 generators, a primary and a secondary, that I had to service and make sure they ran at all times. So I would go in there. I guess I can't say the exact location on base or anything like that. But there was a little building they had, and that building was temperature controlled, and the generators had to run 24/7. If one went down, they switched to the backup, and I had to get out there and make sure the primary was fixed and running. So they needed to have 2 available at all times. The military themselves did not guard the building. They actually had hired outside security to watch this building, which is odd to me. You don't think that's odd? Like, you're the military, but you won't guard this own building. No, you don't think it's odd?
It's a little strange.
It's a little strange. So in my eyes, I see this as, well, maybe because the military is trained to fight humans. The military themselves, they're all their training is set up to be anti-human combat or whatever. The guys that I talk to on site when I get there to service the generators or fix the generators, they must have been like a Men in Black type thing, right? Could be. Am I crazy for thinking that?
No, not at all.
No, I don't think so, right? They would just sit there and watch it, and they would just stare at this freaking little building all day. Could they have stored some stuff in there, alien or whatever, for a while that had to be kept? They had to be kept at a certain temperature. And it was I probably went there for like a year and a half. And then they moved it. They said it was being moved. One time I was there like, oh yeah, we're moving this to somewhere. They didn't tell me where they're moving it, and we're going to get your generators out of here soon so you don't have to come back in here. I was in there, dude, I was probably in there 3 times a week, these generators.
Jesus.
So that's another thing that kind of like fueled my interest and piqued it when reading about the alien being shot on base and they sealed it up, and then going to this building in the woods. Really, it was like the base is so big, there's like different wooded areas that are just like acres of woods, and it was out in the woods, and then you just go to like this big opening clearing in the woods. It's maybe alien, dude.
Did you see like the actual like runways and shit while you were there?
I drive on them.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, I get to drive on them. I get to go down to the test sites. I drive on the runways, and then you have like you just got to move, and then when you see like they have lights, so like, oh, a jet's gonna launch, get the fuck off the runway. Like if I'm going to certain buildings, I have to drive down the runway for, I don't know, like 2 miles, and then you get off, and then the jets can run down, but you get lights like don't enter, and then when they turn green, you can drive on it. They had the freaking tracks for like the rockets. They test like jet engines and stuff. They mount them to a trolley almost on a, looks like a rail track, like for trains, and they'll launch the jets to test them, and it'll run down the track attached to these like rail cars for freaking 2 miles. It's a cool place, but
your job takes you to interesting locations.
Yes, anywhere they need freaking equipment, I service them. I think my favorite's the nuke plant.
You love the fucking nuke plant.
I love that place, and I think it's, well, one when you go there, you have like an hour before you can even do anything, so it's like a free break. You have to go through all your freaking radiation training again. You got to get your dosimeter. You got to have it set up. You got to sign a bunch of waivers. You know what I mean? Then you got to go through. You go through rad checks before going in, and then everything you touch, you have to get a cloth, wipe the machine with the cloth, and then go to a Geiger counter and just see if there's anything on it. Okay, Geiger's good, and then you can touch that with your hands instead of the cloth. And then on the way out, you got to do all the same stuff. All your tools got to be checked out and everything else. Everything gets wiped down, your boots, make sure there's nothing. They check everything. Then you go through body scanners and then out through another scanner, and then you get to leave. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you always... Yeah, it is like fall. You always text, you're like, oh, back at the Duke plant. My skin's tingling. Is that normal? And I'm like, don't come to my house.
And well, the nuke plant, this place is being decommissioned, so they're taking it all down. The reason it's being decommissioned, I guess we're getting a little off topic or whatever. The this nuke plant, I don't know, maybe about 7 years ago now, they were told it needed a second cooling tower, even though it's been running for 20 years without it. They said, oh, it needs a second cooling tower to stay operational. And then so Holtec was like, all right, let's check the price. And it turned up to be like billions of dollars. And like, it's not worth it. We'll just decommission it. So they started to, they've been decommissioning it for a while. That's where we've been going in there. And then right before the Trump administration got in, the Trump administration actually contacted Holtec and said, hey, that nuke plant, if we get elected, we will grant you the money for the cooling tower, because they wanted to switch away from wind and solar and more nuclear. And they were like, we're too far along. It's not worth it to do that. We already decommissioning it too far along. So now they're going to be granted, and once it's done, they're taking it all down. They're going to be switching to modular reactors. And a modular reactor is like the size of like a freaking 10 by 10 shed. And it produces almost as much power as like that whole freaking place. So they're going to put 6 of those modular reactors on that same site and run 3 at a time. And then the other 3 can be down for maintenance, and they just switch through them. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I'd rather them run those than like, cause the solar, but the wind on top of it, every freaking windmill I go to, it's locked. They're not even spinning. I don't know what everyone talks about. Oh, they're great. They don't do anything. They don't produce any power, barely anything. They freaking coat them in some shit de-icer that if a bird lands on it, they die. They're full. No one understands this either. They're not green. They are full with hydraulic fluid, which is oil, so you need to still drill for oil and use, oil to run these things. And when there's no wind, there's a diesel backup generator that spins the turbine when it's not windy out, or they just lock them and leave them, and then it's just a big freaking eyesore in the middle of the sky. So that's my rant on windmills or wind turbines.
Yeah.
And the solar fields, forget that, dude. They bitch about fucking everything else being green, but they tear down fucking acres of trees to put up these freaking solar fields. Stop doing that. Why don't you just make every parking lot have a roof of solar panels instead of tearing trees down? That's my. Solar's all right, but the way they're going about it is stupid. Stop tearing trees down. Just make canopies over parking lots. All right.
The only thing I know about solar fields is the level in Power Wash Simulator where you have to clean one up. That's all I know. But anyway,
I go to a lot of solar fields. So I go to a lot of solar fields. The wind turbines are always down. They're stupid, and they're worthless. That's stupid. And the other thing that people always get so worried and jerked about freaking nuclear power plants. We're really going on a tangent here, but so they get pissed off and they're like, oh, nuclear power plants, because everyone thinks in their head, they hear nuclear power plant and all they think of is like Hiroshima, right? A nuclear bomb being dropped on something. That's not what a nuclear power plant is. We've only had 2 failures, right? The one in Japan, which was on a fault line, and it had an earthquake and a tsunami at the same time. And then you had Chernobyl, which is another shithole of a freaking situation. And it was an outdated GE reactor that was just bad, and they should have taken care of it and maintenance it prior to that, and that's why it would happen with that. It's not a nuclear bomb going off. It's literally boiling water. That is what a nuclear power plant is. It boils water to spin a turbine. That's the whole point. That's what they do. It's clean energy. Everyone's so worried. And these modular reactors run on spent rods. So like the spent rods at this plant, they get put in a freaking concrete case. The modular reactors now run on those spent rods, so we don't even have the waste. That's the way to go. That's the future. But yeah, anyway, we can go back to aliens, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know how to fucking segue back. Did you happen to read the account by Major George Filer
No,
from
what was it?
from that base? He's a retired intelligence officer, but
Okay,
he was back then he was a briefing officer,
okay,
and he was on his way. He would go to that base every day at like 4 a.m, and he showed up the morning that happened,
Mhm.
and when he was getting checked in, the soldier on duty or whatever was like, "Oh man, you missed quite a show. You missed you missed all the fun basically." And he was like, "Oh, what happened?" And he told him everything, obviously. And then he goes in and he's told like, "Hey, I need you to do a briefing, and you're gonna tell the squad that we had an alien encounter and this and that." They told him everything like straight up. And then maybe a half an hour before he was meant to give the briefing, it got canceled. Like they just completely scrapped it. It's like, we're not going to do it. Never mind. And then they had there's like a dark room where they developed the pictures, because they took a bunch of pictures of the alien and the whole situation. And the one guy went to show him the pictures, like, "Hey, this is what this is what happened." And someone who he didn't recognize came in and was like, "No, no, no, he's not allowed to see those." And he snatched the pictures and walked out. And he's like, "All right, well, rude." But then what happened shortly after that, every single member of the military base that was there during that whole thing, they all got transferred to all different bases. Like they just erased them from the area. They're like, "Nope, you can't be here anymore. You got to go." And they shipped them all away. And they basically told them, like, "You guys didn't see anything. If you tell anybody, there's going to be consequences." And they just got rid of them. They moved them all over the world. Like, get out of here.
There you go. See you
But,
later.
yeah.
You can't. Yeah, they wanted this on lockdown, and they sent them out. But like I said, I go to Lakehurst most, Fort Dix a little bit. But even Lakehurst, they talk about this still on base, the alien being shot, and then Dix too. But yeah, it definitely happened. It's definitely there.
There's too many witnesses, and the story comes from all different people who don't interact.
Yeah.
So like it's too many credible witnesses who don't know each other.
Exactly. So especially when you have military or police with sworn testimony on what they saw, and different people that don't know each other saying the same fucking thing, something is there. And that was what we're going to go to with this. A lot of people, because a lot of these sightings were during the Cold War, right?
Mhm.
So then you have a lot of people saying, well, it's Cold War tech, or it could be the Russians or even the Chinese. I don't think so. Or the Soviets, I should say. I doubt it. That's not what this is. And I'll tell you what this is. I think it is alien. And I think the aliens kind of watch over. I don't think it's like signs. Like some people think aliens are bad. No, I don't think they will destroy humanity as a whole. Now, yes, some people, I guess, catch strays and they get abducted and probed, but that's just what has to be done, right? They want to make sure they want to study us. So maybe some people get a little extra, get traumatized a little bit, but as a whole, they're not gonna harm humanity, because if they wanted to, they would have already. I'm sure they would have, especially some of the shit that goes on. So I think they've been here, like I mentioned. I think I mentioned this in episode 3, our aliens episode. They've been here for thousands and thousands of years, maybe even longer, millions. They were here maybe even when the dinosaurs were here, and I think we had a little discussion about that. Maybe they ended the dinosaurs' lives, Possibly. They didn't like the dinosaur tree life or living being tree or whatever you want to call it, that tangent of evolution, because it's not suitable for them, and they kind of maybe dropped. Maybe they weren't meteors, maybe they're bombs. But I think aliens were here as like a way to help humanity grow. So they've been here for a long time. When things happened, like the Cold War was like probably the closest we've ever been to nuclear war ever. They were probably overseeing what's going on. That's why you see them over military bases. Maybe they're observing, seeing if any nukes were being moved, because I think aliens knew a thing or two about nukes. I think we brought this up in episode 3 also. In the Sanskrit in the Indus Valley, right? Those freaking Sanskrit poems, those epics, I guess you can call them, where they talk about literally what a nuclear bomb does thousands of years before a nuke was ever invented.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? And then when you go to that valley, the scientists were there. You have vitrified sand, which is glass, basically. And the amount of heat needed for that is like nuclear heat. Like they didn't have the ability to do this on their own with fire. So I think aliens knew what nukes do. They kind of did a little bit with nuclear war between those two cities in the Indus Valley when they were fighting. And they had the cities talk about losing their fingernails, their hair, some explosions and light brighter than 10,000 suns or whatever it was. And then moving forward, like we can't have these humans nuking each other because it's going to destroy the planet. And we have interest in this. And I think the reason they have interest in this is because we have UFOs, but we also have what are they called? USOs, just submersible.
Yeah, the submerged objects. Yeah.
Unidentified submerged objects. What if UFOs and USOs are the same thing? These are what would you call them? Multi-terrain vehicles. They can go from air to land to sea, underwater. So I think they've been here for thousands of years, and they live in the water. I think Atlantis, they talk about this all the time in ancient, like with the Greek and everything else, going to Atlantis, whatever. It's probably an alien base. We never found it. We have no idea where it is. Maybe back then they were allowed to see this freaking thing, and then they kind of close it up because like these guys are scumbags. Humans are kind of getting dicks. They're not gonna let them in anymore because they probably just try to take over and destroy the place and shit on the fucking toilet, not flush, and be dickheads. So they don't. What
the fuck?
I don't know what I'm talking about. So when they just destroy the place, so then that's what Atlantis is, an alien base underwater. And then these aliens come up and they observe the area. They want to make sure nuclear war does not break out because this planet's theirs too. They've kind of like grew it. It's like their child. They may have came from another planet, but this is like their baby. They want to try to grow it, make sure everything goes fine. And then when we go and look at all these UFO sightings, they're always over reservoirs, waterways. And another theory I have is they use the water for fueling. So when they're no longer in the oceans, they use the fuel all the time, and they're floating around over the land and looking around and stuff, they stop to refuel their ships. So they, like you were saying, they burned a hole in the ice. It was seen burning a hole in the ice. What happens if there's some kind of tractor beam technology we don't know yet that sucks the water out of the freaking reservoirs, out of these rivers and everything else? And then on board, they have technology that converts water and breaks it down into hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen, if they breathe oxygen, I'm not, for breathing. Hydrogen for fuel, because you can fuel. We know we can fuel and run engines on hydrogen. We have them now, hydrogen-powered vehicles, hydrogen-powered motorcycles. So hydrogen fuel cells, they've been around for a while. We've been trying to work on technology now where we can separate the water engines, where we can separate water down into its basic elements and power engines using that. Could be alien technology that we found, for all I know. But I think it was Honda or Toyota that was working on one of those water engines. So that's my theory on it. And this all comes together where Atlantis, waterways, nukes. This is aliens, dude. Aliens oversee this place. They're not bad. They're here to help us, but we're just not ready for them. It's going to cause mass panic. Whether people realize they're here to help us or not, It's not going to sit well with people.
Well, here's my thing. This is how I know that even if they are watching over us, they're kind of not, they're not as strong as we think they are. Because if they were watching over us and they didn't want us to nuke each other, they would just pull a Superman 4 and just collect all the nukes on the planet and just get rid of them.
Well, maybe they might not be as strong, but they don't. Maybe they don't want to interfere. Maybe it's part of their thing. Like, let's not interfere until it's like threat level midnight. You know what I mean? Like The Office. So like, well, they don't want to interfere until it's like the last second. Then they're going to do something. That's why they float around, but they never really get that involved unless they're probing someone. You know what I mean?
I mean, they shouldn't get involved, considering that the last time they landed, they just got shot in the face.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to get involved either.
Yeah, they freaking they're openly hostile towards us. So let's just stay back, stay in the shadows, make the people who see us like have everyone else think they're crazy. Oh, it's not a UFO. It's a freaking Cessna, like they all tried to say during the drone sightings that we had here. And yes, I'll tell you this. Most of them are probably planes, Cessnas, FAA regulated aircraft that were flying around, because once someone sees it, now everyone wants to see it. And then when you try to see it, you're going to see everything as a UFO. But there was drones. There's still most of the cases of reports the US NJ had was, aircraft. They check FAA logs and stuff like that, and they find it. But there's still over 100 sightings with documented pictures or visuals on them that they cannot explain, but they don't really talk about it. They just kind of blow it off, just freaking zap it away. They don't want to see it. Just like the Epstein client list, just gone. We don't want to look at it. So that's why the aliens are here. They're here. They're overseeing us, and they want people to think that the ones that see them are crazy.
I love how people immediately jump to somebody being crazy. It kind of makes me laugh. Like, it was what was it back in '52? The Passaic UFO photos. The guy took a picture of a flying saucer, and they were like, "That's clearly like a sombrero." Basically just called him a piece of shit. And he's like, but it's a UFO. They're like, "No, it's a hat. You're stupid." But then years later, in 2015, the CIA recognized the photo, and they were like, "Yeah, this is, well, it's not a sombrero. I'll tell you that."
Not a sombrero. But yeah, they're definitely in the waters. Well, how many Navy pilots and Air Force pilots have come out and said they've seen things flying next to their jets and then disappearing into the waters, into the oceans and stuff? They get their sensors jammed, their freaking radars, and they're jammed up. They can't, they see something, disappears, comes back, disappears. Then they're like, the speed that would need to be is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of G's on turning and acceleration and everything, a human body can't withstand that. It would destroy any craft that we have, but they see it on their scanners, and then they just dip into the ocean. There's tons of them. You can look at. They had those UFO, USO, testimonies in Congress. They're recorded. You can listen to them. They'll talk about these things floating around, but people are quick. You're crazy. Like they think I'm crazy. I'm a big alien guy. Everyone thinks I'm fucking nuts. But I'll be having the last laugh when they're real and they come up. I'm telling you.
I don't understand the fucking people saying like, "Oh, you're crazy." What's so crazy about that? Like, I said this in the last Alien episode. To think we're alone in the universe, you're a fucking asshole. Like,
well, there's some grumblings that space is gay.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Space is very flamboyant. It has no business having that many stars.
Is that what it is?
That's just my opinion. Oh, look at the nebula. It's so pretty. Gay.
Gay. But the size of the universe, which is basically infinite space, you're telling me there's not one fucking other living thing in this entire universe. And
No,
God knows whatever's past that.
there's
Because
nothing.
space is unlimited space. There could be this universe expanding or contracting, whatever you want to say it is. And then there's nothing past it, but there's nothing. It just keeps going forever because there can't be some fucking wall. And then who says say fucking a fucking quadrillion light years past the edge of what we know as the universe, there's another universe with more technology than we have. I mean, humans have been on the planet. I mean, compared to the age of the universe, a blink of an eye. You're telling me there might not be a planet or could be a planet, and you just say it's not. That's the humans there, or humanoid, whatever their intelligent being is, 10,000 years more advanced. 10,000 years to the universe is nothing, but for us, for technological advancement, it's a long time. It's quite possible. It's almost not impossible. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like it's almost has to be possible for another planet to have humanoids or something like that, and to be way more advanced than us.
Well, going by, the laws of infinity, yeah, there has to be. Like, I think it's just, it's the same thing. You put, what is it, like an infinite number of monkeys with typewriters, at least one of them is going to come out with Mozart just because it's infinite. Like,
yeah, because it never ends. Yeah, something. That's a good analogy. I like that.
I think it's actually the works of Shakespeare, and I'm stupid. But either way, you get the gist. But
it's probably Shakespeare.
Well, to think we're alone in the universe is just such a level of self-centeredness that I can't wrap my head around. It's just asinine.
Yeah, we're definitely not. And we're definitely not the smartest thing in the universe.
Oh.
We might not be the dumbest shit in the universe. Like, this planet might have, more advanced life forms than some other planet with living beings on it. But I guarantee you, it's almost impossible to say it's not true that there is another planet that is well more advanced than us.
Yeah. So,
and then
all I could say is
yeah, and once you can start like learning the gravity manipulation and how gravity really truly works, you can get from one spot to another. We know wormholes or I'm drunk. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Are theoretically possible, right? Wormholes, based on Einstein's theories and everything else, they're possible.
Mm-hmm.
Go from one point to another. Who says no? Someone else didn't figure that out. They can be here. Aliens can be here. It's not that hard to comprehend, but you still have all them people that'll just say you're fucking nuts. No such thing.
It's because they had a bad day and they want to take it out on you. So they call you crazy and a male chauvinistic pig.
But today I don't know. You think that's wrapped up our alien conversation for the day?
I think so. I think we can move on to another wrap.
Yeah, I think we wrapped up, but we're going to unwrap something else, right?
Yeah. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, is, at least in the U.S., was the re-release of the snack wrap at McDonald's.
Now, you know what sucks? Canada's had this the whole time. They've never lost it. But continue.
Now I need to go to Canada and see if it's still the same quality as it was back then, because it's not here.
So, I haven't had this. It came out today. Josh, as a foodie, I guess you could call him, day one, I guess he pre-ordered his snack wraps, and he got them, right? He got to try each flavor. I didn't try them yet. I was thinking about it, and I didn't do it. I will probably try it maybe this weekend. But just to go by what they put in it, they used to put in the selects, the chicken select strips, right? Now they call them the McCrispy strips, I believe.
Yeah. The McBullshit, yeah.
They're not the same to begin with. So the main ingredient, the chicken strip, the most important part of the chicken snack wrap is different. I'm not saying it's horrible. Like, it's edible. Like, I've eaten them more than once. I've went back and got them. But it's not a select. Nothing is like the select. The select was more flavor, better texture. All around was a better strip, better chicken strip. So now going to like with Josh, you have to, because I don't know the wrap itself. Are the rest of the ingredients the same?
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the ingredients are the same for the most part. You got your ranch, cheese, lettuce, piece of chicken, and then they wrap it in the tortilla. Or that's the regular one, and now they have the spicy one, which I don't know if you've tried with the chicken strips, that sweet chili sauce.
Okay, I haven't tried the sweet chili sauce yet, though.
That's the only new thing I like. That sauce is addicting, but they put that on there, and it's actually pretty good. But
it's spicy. I didn't think it was spicy.
It's a little spicy.
Like, I haven't tried it, so I didn't. But I didn't think, hearing sweet chili, I didn't think it was going to be like a spicy thing. It's not like their spicy McCrispy chicken sandwiches, right? That orange sauce on there, that spicy sauce.
It might be that. I might be thinking
Is it
of
that
sauce.
I was gonna say, because that's actually pretty spicy. I never tried the chili dipping strip sauce. I haven't tried that yet. But so the rest of the ingredients, like the cheese, is still tastes the same cheese.
That's all the same. But the chicken is bullshit. It's these shriveled little pieces of garbage chicken. Like, I've had bags of Tyson from the refrigerator that are more delicious. But like these, I gotta be honest, the snack wraps now, they're okay, but they ain't it, sis. Like, they're not at all what they used to be, and I know everybody will agree on that when they eventually get it. But
because I mean the chicken strips, like I've always said, I've only got my experience by the strip itself because I haven't had the wrap. But yeah, it's not the same. And I was trying to be like, oh, maybe it's because it was like, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. Maybe it just, we remember it being better because we were younger or whatever. But it's not, because I think the selects were like battered, but these are breaded.
yeah, because the selects, they were a lot bigger too. Like, they were big pieces of chicken. And this is just, you gotta dig for it to make sure it's actually in there.
Are you saying it would have been better off just using chicken nuggets to make nuggets?
I would fuck with that.
Yeah. Now the other thing that pissed me off is, when I looked and I saw they didn't bring it back, and maybe it's because, we're just getting into it, but they had the Mac snack wraps too, which was the Big Mac sauce with a burger in there, wrapped up, and they were the best. Dude, they were fucking great. They're not there. It's kind of annoying.
So my wife mentioned something while we were having these snack wraps an hour ago that made a lot of sense to me. And I didn't think of this until she mentioned it. Because everyone was like, oh, well, they re-released the chicken selects. Why didn't they just do the snack wraps at the same time? It would have made sense. It's the same ingredients. They had such a huge rush with just the chicken select McCrispy bullshits that had they released it all at the same time, it would have just been a one and done rush kind of situation. But now that they spread it out and then they brought in the snack wraps, there's a whole nother rush of people going, because it was fucking busy today. Like, it was crazy. And
for me, once you got so I didn't run out today. The reason I did, and one of the reasons I didn't run out and just get it, is because I thought the chicken wasn't as good. It was subpar compared to the original selects. So
100%.
I feel like, in a way, yeah, that's could be right, but in another way, it could be, well, they already tasted the chicken. You're like, yeah, that's bullshit. So there's no point in getting the wrap. But the main reason why the snack wraps were taken off the menu, right? In the United States?
No.
The main reason, if you look it up, was because the fucking people making them were bitching that it was too complicated and time consuming to make the wrap. And then the franchisees are bitching about it, and then McDonald's finally pulled it because it was, quote unquote, too time consuming and difficult to make. So I was like, so then in my theory about the Mac wrap, I'm like, all right, well, maybe, listen, we got the first round, we got the strips back. Now these schmucks, they were complaining it was too hard to make. They have to, get used to putting those fucking strips in a box. Then, now we got this chicken snack wraps. So let's not bombard them with having a different protein in there too. Just let them focus on making the chicken wraps first until they get used to it. Then we bring back the Mac snack wrap, and then let them, have it all at once. Now you have the Mac snack wrap back and everything, and maybe they're more used to it, and then they're more confident making it, and they're not going to be bitching that it's too time consuming.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, that's exactly what Jess said before. She was like, I guarantee they're going to wait and release that one as well, but they're just taking their time and getting the workers acclimated to doing that, and also getting ready for a third rush of sales.
Yeah.
Which is, it's pretty smart, I'll say that.
Yeah, because, McDonald's has really increased their menu prices a lot during the Build Back Better years. So when you have, I guess, not as many people buying, because let's face it, now, like, if I get, myself, my wife, and the kids, like McDonald's, you're looking at like $50, right? It's not what McDonald's was supposed to be. It's supposed to be cheap. So I think they're trying to win back fans now with this stuff. Like, oh, we got to try to, because their sales have gone down. It's obvious. They're trying to pricing themselves so high. Like, I can go and get a freaking double quarter pounder meal at McDonald's, and it's like $13, right, for a large meal. Or I can go to Tommy's. It's a family restaurant, bar and stuff, and get a Tommy's barbecue mountain burger, which is a half-pound burger with fries, for $2 more. So at the end of the day, like, what would you rather buy? Obviously, I'd go and get the $2 more burger. It's fantastic. It's stuffed. The burger itself is stuffed with cheese and bacon inside the burger, and it has barbecue sauce over the top. So, yeah. So McDonald's is trying to find their way to get people back into the store. I get it. So now you're gonna try to bring back the snack wrap, but you should have cheaped out on the chicken. You gotta go back to the roots and get the good chicken.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Yeah, snack wrap's what, $2.99? If you had the good chicken and it was $3.99, I think I'd be more willing to spend the extra buck if it was the good chicken.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. The chicken it's just cheaper chicken. I think that's the problem.
It is. But what's funny? We were, again, my wife and I were discussing this. Something that, they bring back stuff from years ago, and it's never the same.
Yeah.
But you know who does, and it's always the same, and it hasn't changed one bit? Taco Bell.
The Taco Bells, dude, their prices have gone up so much.
You know what? They have, but definitely not as much as like McDonald's or Burger King, let alone Burger King. You get one burger meal, it's like $18.
Yeah, Burger King is expensive, but they've always been more expensive than like McDonald's. But no, Taco Bell by me is really increased. Like, I remember the cheesy roll-ups used to be 99 cents. Now they're $2.99.
Are they really?
Yeah, and like the fucking beefy 5-layer burrito used to be 89 cents. Now it's $3 and change. And 89 cents was probably back when I was in college, maybe, like 10 years ago. So like they've really, the Taco Bells I feel like really increased. McDonald's has really increased. Burger King has always been expensive, and they're really now expensive. Wendy's seems to be, I feel like Wendy's was more expensive than McDonald's, but now McDonald's is more expensive than Wendy's. In a way, I don't know. I use the app though too. Like, a lot of people don't realize to use the app, bro. I use the app. You get 20% off every time. Just use that reward. You guys fuck yourself out of money every time if you don't use the app. It's just an FYI. I don't know if you use the app.
Constantly.
But you got to use the app, dude. You get 20% off?
Yeah.
Yeah, every time you fucking order, you hit that 20% off thing, man.
That, and if you get it for like, if you just want like a quick lunch or something, you get like a free medium fries half the time.
Yeah, or like, I'll be like, you know what? I'll be in the morning, it'll be like 7 o'clock. I'll be in the service truck. I'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go there, drop points, and just get like a free bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Yeah.
And just leave. And pay nothing, but I have a bacon, egg, and cheese. You have to use the app. All these places, they make it, I mean, the prices have gone up, but if you're smart about it, and you use the apps and everything, you can kind of get a lot of money back. Like not getting it back, but making it cheaper on you. You're not spending as much money.
Yeah, I gotta say, when it comes to the apps, Wendy's is actually pretty good because their stuff that you could redeem with your points isn't as like crazy amounts. Like McDonald's, you gotta wait till you get like a couple thousand points sometimes. But Wendy's, you want a Baconator, you just need 800 points.
Yeah. Now you don't want to know, dude. I have so many points, but I'm not gonna get into that. Wendy's too. The thing with Wendy's compared to say McDonald's, Wendy's you can use a points, so you can take use your coins or whatever and get a Baconator. But then you can also on top of that use like a $5 off, $20 or whatever. You can use two. Like McDonald's won't let you do that. You can't go to McDonald's and use the 20% off and 6,000 points for a kid's meal. You can't do it. It won't let you use both. Wendy's will let you use one of each, which is nice. And that's almost like Wawa and Quick Check. You can use multiple ones. I can get 3 free subs, you know what I mean? Or a salad and a sub for free at one time. Like McDonald's doesn't let you do, which I don't understand. You're still going to use the points. They just hope, I guess, you let them expire. But fuck it, who cares? Let them use the points all at once. They have them. They spent the money.
Yeah, and then I love Dunkin' Donuts, but they kind of fuck you out of your points sometimes. I don't know if you ever use their app.
Yeah, I have their app. They make it so much of a pain in the ass to redeem the points anyway. Like you have to click on it, then you gotta click. So you gotta add whatever it is, the points. Say you get a coffee, a free medium coffee, or whatever it is. When I get my wife her caramel swirl bullshit. So then you just click on that, then you gotta add it. So then when you have it added, you have to click again to say redeem the points. Redeem that thing you took, even though you already redeemed it once. To take the points, you have to do it again. Or am I thinking of Quick Check? But one of them does it like that, and it pisses me off.
No, Dunkin' definitely does that, and they fuck you out of your points, because if you get enough points to get a free like iced coffee, it says free, small, medium, or large. And you're like, great, I could use a large coffee today. You use up the points, and then you order it, and it only lets you get a fucking medium. I'm like, the fuck is that? Like, is it really that big of a deal for like what, a couple extra pours of coffee? Come on.
Well, yeah, I guess so, huh?
It's bullshit.
Don't get me started on Starbucks.
I don't go to... The only time I go to Starbucks is when our mutual friend comes to visit, and she's a barista.
Yeah, this mutual friend gave me the worst. I think I've mentioned this maybe I've mentioned this before in another podcast. The worst drink of cinnamon brown sugar or whatever the fuck it was. Bullshit. And I'm like, this is horrible. She's like, no, you love it. I'm like, no, I really don't. This is fucking horrible.
It's like, no, you like it. Oh, good. I didn't realize.
now I like it. Yeah, you made me remember I like it. Thank you. Yes.
You put it that way.
She was, oh well, because someone else made it, not me. I'm like, well, no, it's not good. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't taste good. It's too much nonsense.
Just shit in a cup with ice. Fuck you. I went to Starbucks the other day, actually, with a friend of mine. I don't know how to order. I'll say that. So, because it's just too many Italian words and bullshit flavors, venti and what.
That's why anything is an app order. I'm done with ordering through fucking shit and everything.
Well, I for the longest time I had my wife order for me because I don't know. She gets the venti. I remembered it now. I wrote it down. Venti black tea lemonade sweetened.
Okay.
And I couldn't remember that, so I literally like wrote it on my hand once and waddled into a Starbucks and read it like a nervous child. And then, so I get that, and then you just get a brownie warmed up, and you're good for the day. But other people, I hear their orders. They're like, yeah, I want a tall half-calf, non-fat mocha bullshit with geese droppings and mocha swirl, and I want that hot foam on top. You're like, the fuck are you talking about? But then the barista's like, yeah, you got it. Like, how do you memorize that? The fuck? But yeah, dude, but it's funny because we talk so much shit about how much prices have gone up at these places, but then I went to a coffee shop a couple of years back, just some regular coffee shop, like no chain or anything. I got I was with, again, our mutual friend. We got 2 coffees and 2 cookies. That's all we got. And it was fucking $23. And then they still were like, "Do you want to leave a tip?" And I'm like, "No, not particularly." I did, but I was like, they went up to like $30. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. But that's why I go to Dunkin'. Anyway, that's my tangent for coffee. Anyway.
We've gone all over the place in this episode.
Yeah, I think we spent like 30 minutes bitching about food.
Why with me? I don't care. They love it. I'm sure they like it.
You know what? We're going to get so much flack from our UK listeners. They'll be like, "Oh, you guys eat so much garbage." Meh. You know what? Yes, we do. I drove to work today eating stuffed bagel bites. It's just a blob of bagel stuffed with cream cheese. It's warmed up. I ate that while driving on the highway, listening to Black Sabbath going to work this morning. So it doesn't get more American than that. I'm sorry.
I mean, we don't always eat trash.
I do.
Once in a while. Because, I mean, come on. We are pretty busy. I mean, I work fucking 10, 11, 12 hours in a day sometimes. So, yeah, you just easy to get fucking something, whatever. But there's nothing probably better than just getting home, relaxing, and then just, like, you can't do it today because you don't have the milk. But I'm literally going to get off here, and I'm going to make one. I'm going to make a tall, cold glass of Ovaltine and take a sip. And just sip it down before going to bed. I'm going to do it. There's nothing better than that. And if anyone thinks that's trash, that's upsetting. You know what I mean? They haven't lived. If the UK people don't have Ovaltine, they haven't lived.
Look, if you don't like Ovaltine, delete my number. All right? I don't understand. It's a chocolatey, delicious beverage, and people may be getting sick of us talking about it, but too bad.
Too bad. We're their spokespeople.
Well, one day.
Well, one day.
We'll either get sponsored or sued, whichever comes first.
Whatever comes first. And either way, we're framing it.
Absolutely.
I guess, well, we don't, when we're not, ghost hunting, cryptid killing, working, spending time with our family recording, we drink Ovaltine. And I think after that, we listen to Grumbling Grunts, right, on Spotify. Something we do in our free time if we're not doing any of the other crap that we have to do with our days.
Yes. I've actually recently started listening, and I enjoy it very much. I'm going to continue to listen because I'm always looking for new shows to check out. And you turned me on to this one.
Yes.
You told me to check it out, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's something about the British accent when they get frustrated.
Yeah, it's not like when Americans get frustrated. Because when British people get frustrated, they still have a wide vocabulary. You know what I mean? They sound sophisticated still, but then when Americans get angry, we sound like Joe Pesci in Home Alone. We're just and you just can't understand. There's got to be subtitles. But.
Exactly. So yeah, if you don't want to, when you're done listening to this, you don't want to, listen to our rant any longer, head over there. Give them a check out.
Yeah.
You get a different perspective. You get that British perspective. But we have a lot of similarities. I've noticed that too. There's a lot of things going on that we both we can agree on, even though we beat them and they'd be speaking German without us. But we there's a lot of similarities.
Look, we can all agree space is a little gay.
I don't think so.
Well,
you guys can. I don't think so. I love space.
Well, I mentioned this before. You're allowed to enjoy gay things. Like Elton John's gay, and he's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but I love it. It's the most. I'm so fascinated by it. There's endless possibilities out there.
It's Final Frontier.
Final Frontier. All right, guys. Well, I guess you're done with this rambling. We'll get to you probably in only a couple days. Hopefully, we get another episode out. We don't want to go 10 days without it, but like I said, we had that storm. My internet was down. I think Josh was having internet issues and kind of power issues, maybe.
Yes.
So that's why it was a little longer than normal. We don't like doing that. We're gonna be come back soon, probably for a Monday commute. This you're listening to us Friday. If you're in the UK, I guess Friday afternoon maybe you'll be hearing this. Or no, I guess if I release it soon, you can hear it for your morning commutes. Please, if you do like this, you can rate us on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. We're now on Apple Podcasts. We added that, and we're on YouTube. Which YouTube, again, I was saying before, I think there's going to be some exclusive content that goes on there once we get that straightened out. Working on some other stuff too. So just bear with us, guys. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully, you all enjoy the ride and just be with us while we try to make your day better.
Yeah, and also, if, like we mentioned last time, if you guys want a free month of Hulu, go through our link tree and get yourself a free month on us.
Yeah, on us. And so you can go on there and watch the Orville. Support them so they can get that next season out, because I love the Orville and I want season 4 to.
I want it so bad.
Yeah, definitely. But all right, until next time, guys.
Bye.